So I think we're gonna probably go ahead and get started because it's 8 o'clock and we'll let people join as they come. How's that? Um, I'm Kathy Robinson. I'm the Leadership Development Committee Chair for the Gateway District. And on behalf of Governor Bruce, I'd like to welcome you. He sends his regrets because the Rome Noon Optimist Club is celebrating terrific kids tonight. So he's not able to be with us. But I hope they're all having a wonderful time and a terrific time, in fact. So I also want to thank Rebecca Harrell, also at the Leadership Development Committee, for arranging tonight's speaker. And I'm going to let her take over now for the introduction of our guest.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, Kathy. So I am actually with the Gilmer County Optimist Club up here in Ellijay, Georgia. I'm the past president and current foundation rep for Gilmer. And I've had the pleasure of knowing Caitlin, goodness, Caitlin, almost 6-7 years now. And for some of you that were not on earlier, some of you may know Trent Sanford. He has been a past president of Optimist Club, but that is Trent's niece. And so it helps to know people in the family. So we kind of look at Caitlin as a kind of an honorary optimist, I guess, because she is a optimist at heart. But Caitlin, of course, is actually our communications director for our Gilmer County Chamber. But she has been very much involved within a lot of nonprofits here in Ellijay and in Gilmer County. And one of the things that I've always been so impressed with is Caitlin's ability to just have such a creative mind. And for the last few years, whenever I've needed anything and just have an idea or want to put it to paper or have something to kind of create it, she was always my go-to person. And so whenever Kathy and I were talking about something to kind of put something together and be creative, one of the things that we talked about was Canva. And I think at one of our last conferences, we actually brought that up, how I think it was myself and actually Kevin Bush's wife talked about it, how you can utilize Canva to really promote your club. And so I was very appreciative of the fact that Caitlin was willing to come on tonight and show us some creative ways to do that inexpensively. And so I'm just going to turn it over to Caitlin. She's going to actually give us kind of a how-to on ways to do that. And then actually open it up for questions, I think, at the end. So if there's anything that you have questions on, again, we're going to try to keep it very simple because Canva certainly can be very, there's a lot of different things you can do on Canva, but she's really going to try to keep it very simple for us. So Caitlin, I'm just going to turn it over to you. But if you would, everybody, please mute your phones, mute your screens, and then we'll just that way, Caitlin will be able to kind of talk through things because she'll be able to share her screen and go through everything. So Caitlin, is there anything else before we'll mute everybody and let you take over?
No, I think that I'm ready to go.
Awesome. All right, take it away, Caitlin.
All right, so before I go over to my presentation, I just want, if y'all can, quick show of hands. How many of y'all have used Canva before? Raise your hand if you've used Canva before. Okay, so keep your hands up if you've used Canva before and show me fingers 1 through 5 for how comfortable you are with Canva. 1 for not very comfortable at all. 5 for you could go work for their corporate office if you wanted to. 4. Oh, I see a 4. I see a 2, 3s, 1s. Perfect. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. All right. Okay. Can y'all see my screen?
No.
No. Okay. Fun. Okay. So this is fun. My computer, we updated recently. I'm using my office computer and we got like a new security server. And it wants me to go out and come back in. So give me 2 seconds. I'm going to go out and come back in.
Oh my.
All right, well, we'll talk amongst ourselves. So as we said, next week, Gerald will be giving Robert's Rules of Order. So we're very excited about that. And I promise you, it's going to be very informative. Gerald's already got it kind of planned out for us of what he's going to talk about. But it's actually a great way, especially for board members, but also really leaders within your club that want to learn how to take minutes, how to certainly work with your clubs and work with your leaders to how to run a meeting effectively. So I would encourage you, I would encourage your board, and I would encourage anybody in your club to join. So we'll be sending out the announcement probably tomorrow, as soon as Gerald gets me the information. But again, I would recommend definitely, it's a great way to learn. I use Robert's Rules all the time in other places, not just at Optimist Club. But I highly encourage you, if you can, to be a part next Tuesday at 8 o'clock. And I see Caitlin has joined again.
All right, so we're good to go now. Security is fun on computers these days. So can y'all see my screen now?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Good. That's what we wanted. So Canva is a really great design tool that you can take advantage of no matter how much experience that you have with Canva or with graphic design. So just to give you a little bit of information about my background, as Rebecca said, I'm the communications director at the chamber, and I've worked in destination marketing to some degree for the past, well, really since I was 14. I started working at the chamber the first time whenever I was 14, came back as an intern in college, and then I joined the staff full time in 2019. My background overall has been more of nonprofit communications and marketing. So I have a lot of experience working with organizations that do not have massive budgets that they can put behind marketing, which means I have found a lot of creative ways to spend very little money and produce high quality materials. I graduated from the University of North Georgia in 2016, and I have been using Canva for 7 years. I actually started using Canva whenever I was an interim children's and youth minister at a church in college, and we had a $0 budget, but they wanted a lot of graphic design materials for social media that looked, more akin to churches that had, full-time graphic design staff. So I did a little research and I found a way to make it happen. And it was this tool that at the time, not a lot of people knew about, and it was called Canva. And it is really amazing how far the software has come in a relatively short period of time. So if it's even been, 6 months since you used Canva, a lot of things have changed. And as we'll get to kind of towards the end of the presentation, a lot of things are going to continue to change in the next year. I see we've got something in the chat. Is it free? Let's get to that. That actually, funnily enough, is one of the big things that we're going to talk about. So I'm gonna downsize Zoom because Zoom, it's just a little confusing. Sorry, guys. It has been a while since I have done a Zoom webinar. I did them once a week in 2020, but now people need person again. So I actually might just keep it in this view right here because it seems like Canva's present feature and Zoom don't want to play nice right now. So we'll just keep it simple. So what we're going to go over, number one, is the paid features on Canva versus the free features in Canva. I'm going to talk about the Canva learning portal. We're going to show you design layouts, which this actually, what you see right now, this is the design center in Canva. And we'll show you just like some things where you can find different elements that are really going to help you out in design. And then we're going to talk about streamlining marketing with Canva. This is really going to be whenever we look at the paid features a little bit more, and we'll get into that. Then the future of Canva, and I want to leave plenty of time for question and answers at the end, because honestly, this is a massive flyover. And Rebecca will tell you a lot of times, she'll just appear at the office and say, Caitlin, why is this poster printing with a white border around it? And some of those things are easier to actually just get in and show you. So let's talk about paid versus free. So there's free Canva, and then there's Canva Pro. Canva Pro, really for organizations like y'all's, the most expensive that it could possibly be is $12.99 per month. There is a Teams feature that we use at the chamber, but I have multiple people working in different design functions underneath me, and we need to collaborate on things at the same time. That's, something that most civic organizations and nonprofits aren't really going to need. So the most expensive it could ever possibly be is $12.99 per month. And then you can see just a basic breakdown of the differences between Canva Free and Canva Pro right here. So you get 5 gigabytes of storage with Canva Free. You get 100 with Canva Pro. And again, for most civic organizations, 5 is probably really going to be fine unless you're doing a ton of design for your club. You can have 2 folders. You can't remove backgrounds, which is a little bit of a negative, especially since Rebecca sent me the Optimist logo for the Gilmer Club earlier, and I'm going to get into showing you where you can load that into Canva later. If you were doing a design that, let's say it had like a light blue background, and you dropped the logo on, it would have like a little white square around the background of the Optimist seal. If you have Canva Pro, you can remove that white background and you won't have that little extra visual disturbance. If your club uses social media, if you have Canva Pro, you can schedule those posts out to your Facebook directly in Canva. If you don't have Canva Pro, if you just have Canva Free, then you'll have to go in and schedule it separately, but that's not really a big deal at all. And the only other thing that really, or 2 things that really kind of push it over the edge for me whenever you're looking at a civic organization is going to be that brand kit and the Magic Resize tool. Magic Resize, let's say, for example, if your club had both an Instagram and a Facebook, or you do both an email and you have a Facebook, and you wanted to let people know about an event that you have coming up. And I'm sorry, I'm very familiar with what Gilmer Optimists do, so I'm going to use some of Gilmer Club's programs as an example. Sack Packs for Kids, for example, if a reminder was going to go out to club members in an email and you needed it to be like a nice rectangular size, like an email header, but you are also posting something on Facebook and you needed it to be like a Facebook post size square, and then you were also going to print flyers about it and you needed an 8.5 by 11 flyer. With Canva Free, you're going to have to go through and individually design to all of those sizes. If you have Canva Pro, you can just go in and click a button and it'll do it automatically, and you'll have to make a couple of adjustments. I worked for a faith-based nonprofit before Canva launched the next thing that I'm going to tell you about. And I'll tell you, I could not get my boss to approve the $12.99 a month for Canva Pro. So I paid for Canva Pro out of my own pocket, because the amount of time and money and sanity that I saved was well worth the $12.99 a month. But since they have launched a great feature, which is Canva for nonprofits, so a lot of Optimist clubs I know have foundations. I think, Rebecca, the Gilmer Club has a foundation, correct? Okay, so this is a great thing to know. If you have like an email address that is associated with your club specifically, or one that you know, as different officers change over, the access to that email will remain constant. A great option that you might want to look at is registering for Canva for nonprofits. So since this has been launched, that organization that I work for is on Canva for nonprofits now. So all of these amazing design features that we pay for at the chamber, because we're a 501c6, which is a slightly different designation that Canva doesn't offer Canva for nonprofits to, they're able to get for 100% free, which is amazing. And Canva is a Australian-based company. And so I did a lot of reading about organizations that qualify, because it's not only just 501c3s. They also designate that if you don't necessarily have a 501c3 nonprofit designation, but you can prove that you're a highly charitable organization, meaning most of your money that comes in is sent directly back out to charities within your community, then they just have like an extra little step in the process that you can take to get Canva for nonprofits. So if you're just like an individual user, unfortunately, Canva for nonprofits is not an option, which is why if you don't have any emails that are set up that travel, you know, from officer to officer as they change over throughout your organization, you know, it might be worth taking a couple seconds and setting them up. So all you really have to do, if you do have a foundation or a nonprofit component to your club, is you'll go in, and there is, you can even just Google Canva for nonprofits. And if you stay logged in, it will take you automatically to the form. And they ask you a couple quick questions about your nonprofit organization, and then ask you to supply your EIN or your incorporating documents. And that's really it. It goes through a really quick approval process. And then as long as you stay a 501c3, your Canva is free. So that's a really great option for a lot of clubs.
So Caitlin, can we ask questions at this moment?
Yeah, you can ask a question right now. That's fine.
Well, thank you. So far, I think this has been very helpful. My question is, many of the Optimist clubs are 501c4 was a civic organization. So not C3. So given what you said, I'm kind of on the fence as to whether or not they would give us the opportunities that you're talking about if you're a 501c3. So can you address that?
I would say it can't hurt to try. The worst thing they can tell you is no. They do say, and they kind of like delineate it on the website. Whenever you look at Canva for nonprofits, you select your country, and it pulls up all the requirements that they have for organizations within your country. And one of the things that they talk about is these highly charitable organizations. So like a civic organization that's purpose is to, you know, pump money back into the community in the forms of charitable donations. To me, it would make sense that would fall under something that they would allow, but I don't work for Canva's nonprofit approval program. So I would just say it can't hurt to try. The worst thing they can tell you is no.
Okay, but that might be the opportunity where the 501c4 could provide their tax exempt status because they are a civic, and maybe get that exemption. So what you're talking about.
Yes, that's one of the things that they ask for highly charitable organizations, is just basically that you can provide some supporting documentation that your organization is not making a big profit on operation.
That is correct.
Actually,
and that would be fair. Absolutely.
Yes.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. It's really weird. They even will allow for-profit businesses if you do a lot of charitable contribution. If the majority of your profit is charitable contribution, they'll allow you to. So I guess they just provide tax returns. It's strange.
Okay.
But
I just pulled up the requirements and it says organizations that the 501c4, C6
Mhm.
do not qualify for the nonprofit program.
Okay, so if you in that case, then you would have to get like the $12.99 subscription to Canva Pro, unfortunately. If your club did have a foundation and you did have a 501c3, then you could use the foundation to get the Canva Pro nonprofit subscription. So we're going to go in and we're going to do a little Canva test drive really quick. And I actually went in and I created a Canva free account to show you kind of what Canva free will do and show you where it's locked off a little bit. So I'm going to navigate over to Safari here. And as you can see, this is a nice new Canva account that has 0 designs in it. So can somebody shout out really quick for me something that your club needs designed often? I know what it is for our club, but maybe y'all have something other than posters.
Well, I think a lot of times we use flyers for
Flyers?
different events that are going on. I think, you know, a lot of people do just different flyers where they're promoting some type of fundraiser or something like that.
Perfect. Okay. So whenever, and this is the Canva free account. So this little search bar right here at the top, all I have to do is type in flyer, which funnily enough, I actually did it earlier. And then it will pull up a bunch of different templates. And these templates are great places that you can start. If you're on the free account, your best friend is going to be the bottom right-hand corner because it's going to tell you if you can use those features or not. So right here, this is a paid template. And so I'm going to look and find one that looks pretty good, but is free. I really like this record. So we will just go in and customize this template. So right here is where you can see where you can share your designs, you can download, you can even print on Canva, which is a really great option if you have something that you want a formal invitation for and you don't want that extra step of going through Vistaprint. You can actually print directly from Canva. And I've done that a handful of times and I've always been really pleased with the products. It is pretty streamlined and simple as opposed to using something like Vistaprint. So actually, I think that a food drive probably fits something a little more similar to what Optimus clubs often do. So if you see right here, this is a design for a food drive flyer. And then this is our design center. So pretty much anything that you are going to need to pull something into the design is going to be right here. One thing that you do get with Pro that you don't have with free, unfortunately, is a brand hub, which basically means that those pretty blues and golds that Optimus Club has in their brand, you can actually save those color codes in there so you don't have to type them in every time. And any fonts that your club uses regularly, you can save those fonts right there. So instead of having to go and select them, it'll just automatically go towards what it knows that you use for your club. So if we are not using that, the other thing that you do is you just come in right here and let's say that I want to change this to blue. I can come and click on the text that I want. And then up here is the text color. And you can always tell because whatever color you're looking at, if it pops up right here, you've selected the right thing. So then it has basic default colors down here. And we'll just stick with default colors. If you want to know how you can do any like hex code selection, I have a link at the end that you can like reach out to me and I can tell you all about hex codes and fun stuff like that. But in the meantime, this cobalt blue is pretty good. So if I just click on that, then I can come in here and select it again if I want to. Okay. So this is what I wanted to show you. Let's say that you're using a template and the colors are very different than what you wanted, and you want to change them all to one uniform color. All you have to do is click the color that you want, and this little option right here will pop up that's called change all. So this is the pretty green that is nice, but now I want this blue. All I have to do is hit change all, and all of the text that is that color changes at once without you having to go through and click again and again. Also, all of these elements are movable and individual. So let's say I want something other than this juice box. I can come right up here and click more. And then you can lock it if you want it to stay right there. Or whenever you click on an element, it's going to pop up things that are similar to that. So you can click right here and see all. And then these magic recommendations are really nice because Canva has a lot of different design elements that are in different styles. So you might have something that looks more like a mid-century illustration and something that looks like a 3D graphic. And those are obviously really different and wouldn't necessarily look great on a poster together. Canva has this really great magic tool where all I have to do is click see all, and then I can find, oh, this cola can looks pretty similar. And then I can just pull it in. Whenever you click on the element, it will pop down into your design. Then you can just click on it and drag it to wherever you want. If you click on one of the corners, you can click and drag to resize. And then if say you want that cola to be at the back of the design, so it's not covering up the candy bar that was there, you can come up here to position and just hit to back and it'll send it all the way to the back. And then you can readjust and see where it fits. So this is, really great because you can go into the design feature. And let's say that it's not a food drive that you want. Let's say, like, I know our club does a tennis tournament, so I can type in tennis flyer and it will show me examples of templates for tennis tournament posters. So again, if you see this little crown right here in the bottom right hand corner, that means that's a pro feature. And unfortunately, you can't use it. So you can find lots of ways to work around that though. For example, let's say I liked this one. Well, this one's not that different. So I can just click here. And then I have a lovely tennis tournament flyer. So since a lot of y'all make flyers, there's one caveat that I do want to let you know. These colored backgrounds, I mean, that's a beautiful beige, isn't it? Unfortunately, as Rebecca and I have discussed before, there's something in print called bleed. And basically what that means is if I downloaded this to my computer right now and I printed it on even our nice office printer, it would put a little white border around it because our printer and most printers are not like a professional format printer. So they don't do crop and bleed. So anytime that you're designing something like that, a good option to go with, if you go into elements, and if I go out of magic recommendations and I put in a frame, let's see if this one will work. Okay, so a rectangular frame. If you don't want to adjust the size of the entire design, you just want to make it taller or wider, you can click the middle bars. And I'm just going to take this all the way to the edge of this design. And then if you take this border, oh, actually that border doesn't allow you to change colors. there are lots of borders that allow you to change colors. This one, okay, this one will allow color change, I think. Okay, no, it still won't. Okay, this one does. So I can make this white and I can take it to the edges of the design, and that will give me a white border. Or the other thing that you can do, which honestly a lot of times is a lot simpler, is just to go in and select a white border. And then that way, whenever you go to print the design, it will look exactly like it looked on your computer, and it won't be like distorted with having like white space at the end. A lot of times if you design something that, you know, is really pretty on Facebook, and you have like, say it was a Valentine's Day fundraiser and you had hearts going all the way to the edge, unfortunately, whenever you make that a flyer and you go to print it, you're going to lose the hearts. So does anybody have any more questions about like different flyer design elements before we move on?
Caitlin, do you want to, I don't know if you were going to show them anything else, but just like you said, I mean, you can do other things outside of just flyers.
Yep.
I think you can, if you want to show them just kind of high level around other things.
Yeah, absolutely. So raise your hand if your club has a Facebook page. Okay, perfect. So most clubs have a Facebook page. So we'll do a Facebook post. Okay. So this is like kind of like a broad overview of different types of posts, because I mean, obviously there are an infinite number of types of businesses, but let's say you were doing a membership drive and you wanted people to join your club. A good thing that you could do is a testimonial campaign. This is a free template, so we'll go in and we'll look at this. So you can come in right here, and this is a great time to actually show you another really fun feature you can use in Canva, free or paid, to make your life a lot easier. So I'm going to go into my uploads right here, and I'm going to upload a file. And Rebecca was so kind as to send me the Gilmer Optimist logo earlier, so I'm going to pull that into Canva from my computer. We're going to give it a second to download. So then this image right here of this woman, if I wanted to, all I have to do is click this image in that I downloaded, and I can drop it in right there. And then I have the Optimist seal in the image. Another thing that you can do, if let's say you were going to do a campaign and you wanted to have everybody in your club or your officers all send you photos of themselves, so you could do like an officers feature after installation. And you wanted to be able to find everyone's pictures easily amongst all the other images that you load in. I'll show you Canva paid in a minute, and you'll see we have a almost disturbing amount of photos loaded up in there. We have everything. One thing that you can do to help you clean it up and make things easier to find is whenever you come right here in your images, those three dots, if you click on it, you can add, you add tags in Pro. So if you wanted to work around that, what I would do is rename this file right here. Optimist seal. And then I can come up here and type in seal, and it will pop up because I've renamed the graphic file. So if you have paid, you can add tags and categorize things by, you know, your officer photos. If you are using free, the easiest thing to do would be to rename that file to a good simple name, so that whenever you search up top, you can find it. So then, of course, you know, you can change your background. You can change your text by coming up here and this recommended fonts is really good because it will show you things that would pair well with the other fonts that are being used in the document. So we use League Spartan a lot at work. So I'm just going to change it to League Spartan. And then again, you get the same option right here where you can change all of the fonts that are from one font to the font that you would rather see on that design. So then all you really have to do is download right here. You can, okay, so this is great. So the good news is that Canva is really good about every time that Pro gets something, eventually it'll trickle down and they will give free something that used to be a Pro only perk. So you can actually link Canva with your Facebook page and you can post it directly from there. You just won't be able to schedule it ahead of time. You would have to be doing this exactly whenever you wanted that post to go live on Facebook. And then in Canva Pro, you can schedule ahead of time for a later date. Does anybody have? Yes.
I've got a question. So like for something like this, like you were sharing, so if we wanted to do a highlight on a member,
Yep.
say, Joyce, because I see Joyce over there. So we're going to highlight Joyce because she brought in or did something specifically special. So we could highlight her. And then like you said, so we could automatically upload it into Facebook and it would format correctly on Facebook. No problem.
Yeah, so this design size that you see right here is the standard display size for an image on Facebook. So you can, and I would actually recommend every now and then, if you're just like especially tech savvy, checking to see if any of the sizes have changed, because occasionally they will change the sizes that things display at. But this design size right here, this is going to be best for most uses because this nice square size, that's the grid size. So if somebody went in and they were looking at all of your images, they would be able to see the entire picture right here without part of it being cut off. And
I love that because I think so many times we probably, I know we all, like we were saying, we all have Facebook pages. And I think that's such a great tool, not only to highlight members, but certainly, people, certainly just within the community, maybe some of the, a lot of clubs highlight different students of the month. And so those will also be a great way to do that. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and if you have something that is like a regularly recurring feature like that, a really great thing that you can do is, let's say, if you were doing like a student of the week and you had all of the students that for the month at the beginning of the month, a great way that you could save time is by just pulling all of their photos into the upload file tab right here. And then you can come through, and once you have your post set up the way that you want it to look, you can just hit this plus sign right here and it will generate the same post again. And then all you have to do is swap out the photo, the name, and the fax, and then you can come in and you can download them all at one time.
Ooh.
That's really, really helpful. The nonprofit that I worked for, we would feature a student of the week every week, and I would get everybody a month in advance and have all their photos, and it would save me so much time as opposed to trying to make time to do it every single week.
Caitlin, I take care of 14 Facebook pages for Optimist and other organizations.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times they send me, well, if they send me just a photo and a write-up, I know I can do that easily, but sometimes they send it an Adobe document. Can you upload an Adobe into Canva?
You cannot load PDFs. I speculate that they might be on the verge of announcing that they're going to change that. Okay, so let's talk about Adobe and Canva for a minute. So Adobe and Canva are like Coke and Pepsi. They're like McDonald's and Wendy's. They're like not great friends. They're like Mac, they're like Apple and Microsoft. So the unfortunate thing is a lot of times whenever you have people who are like direct competitors and they're really the only two people who are on the same level, they make them intentionally not able to talk to each other.
Okay.
However, if you are getting a lot of Adobe files, I would almost wonder if those clubs are using something like Spark. So,
No,
Adobe.
it's just individuals email me stuff.
Okay, perfect. So it's like
And I can convert it out of Adobe to other things, but I was just hoping there was some way I could do it without having to spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
I would look into Adobe Spark. It's not 100% as user friendly as Canva, but if things are coming over frequently in an Adobe format, like a .ai file, then Spark should be able to help alleviate that. If not, do you have Adobe on your computer?
Yes, and I pay $19.99 a month.
Yeah. Okay. So if you already have Adobe, I would see if your Adobe subscription is giving you access to Spark.
Okay.
It should be. And you can find a lot of great tutorials for Spark on YouTube. Actually, there's a period of time whenever I was using both Spark and Canva at the same time. But that should help with that issue if you're wanting something that is in like a Facebook format, but people are sending you info over from Adobe.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions right now? Okay, so Linda asked a question in the chat that y'all can chime in on. For the clubs that are using Canva, are you using the free version or are you using the pro version? So feel free to chime in there if you have any insight to offer. And so now we're going to talk a little bit more about those kind of like streamlining processes. And
Caitlin, we're at 15 minutes. So
okay, perfect. Yeah. So basically, I'll just make a long story short and show you some of those things that you can do a little bit easier if you have Canva Pro. Okay. So actually, you know what? We'll save that for the end. I'll go ahead and tell you guys about some of the new things that they are coming out with that might help your club. So one of the biggest ones is website building. That's something that they announced in 2022. So if your club has a website and you do not have a ton of web design experience, the website building is going to be really helpful for you. They're enhancing their video editing. I am not a video editor, but Canva makes it really, really simple to make a video-based post, which is something that, you know, love it or hate it. If your club has a Facebook page and you want people to keep seeing your content, making something that even just has like a simple little loop on it, video is getting massively promoted in Facebook's algorithm over a static post, which is just a photo. And then also magic tools. So magic tools, basically that like magic recommendations on the photos. You can make actually a Google Doc. If you know you have a document that you need to send out to your club members, you can design that in Canva as well. And they have a tool called Magic. I think they call it Magic Pen, and Magic Pen will actually, you can go in and you can type in, I need a brief history of our organization. And if you just add in like a few key points about your club, it can generate a paragraph for you, which I know is very scary, but if you are a volunteer for a civic organization, your time is very precious. So that is another cool option. And then if you want to keep learning and growing more with Canva, some things that I would encourage you to look into are Canva Create, and I will send this. I'll send my slides over to Kathy. I have all of these linked, so you can click through to these pages without having to search for them yourself. Canva Create is basically like their big unveiling of new products every year, and that's happening this Thursday. They announced some just like insane time-saving things last year, so I bet they'll be doing even more this year. They also have an online learning portal. So anything that you need to design, if you don't have a ton of graphic design experience, you can click the link to go to this learning portal, and they will give you ideas on, saving time, scheduling content for Facebook, or how to make a good flyer, or how to make a short email that people will actually open. And then they also give you insights on how to use different functions in Canva. And then if you use Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook, I would just like their pages, either like or follow them. It's probably one of the easiest ways that you can keep up with what's going on with Canva and learn new things, because anytime they launch a new product, they always post about what the product is and how to use it on all of their social media. Okay.
I have a question for you.
So that brings us to, first, I'm going to make a little shameless plug. Like I said, I'm a destination marketing. LJ is beautiful. Our club has a tennis tournament coming up relatively soon. Please come see us. We would love to have you in LJ, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn if you want any more fun Canva ideas. Does anybody have any other questions? Anything at all?
In the
I
7
heard
years you've
somebody, I
been,
think Robert did.
yeah, in the 7 years you've been using this, how often has the price gone up?
Never.
Okay, so $12.99 is pretty basic. So if I were to get the Pro,
Mhm.
Is that something that I'm locked in for a year, or let's say after 2-3 months, I'm too confused with it, I can cancel it?
You can do a month by month or an annual subscription.
Okay.
Actually, I'll go in to the free account and we'll just take a little look and we'll see what that would look like really quick. Okay, so if I'm gonna hit Try Pro, start my free trial. Okay, so there you go. You can do it monthly for $12.99, or you can do it billed yearly. They give you a little bit of price break if you do it billed yearly, but if you're not sure if you're gonna like it, by all means, monthly.
Right.
Yeah.
You can do brochures and
Yes.
newsletters,
Yes.
business cards, and now
Mhm.
you say they print, you'll print it through Vistaprint?
Yes, so you can download your design and then you can print it through Vistaprint if you want.
Okay, otherwise you can print it right off your computer.
Yes, otherwise you can print it right off of your computer, or
Okay.
you can use Canvas print as well.
Hey,
Okay,
Robert, just so you
Yes.
know, I had to print something and I was able to print it and I live in Gilmer, but I was able to send it to print for the Staples in Canton. And they did a phenomenal job for me, and it was very reasonably priced. So we needed a big giant poster for our sack pack program for our
okay,
big auction, and they did it for me for like $12.99, and I was
Wow.
able to send it and it was done. So
Wow.
sometimes, again, I don't know how I sent it, and then I selected where I could send it to
okay,
through Canva.
okay, that's great.
So, and just so you know, I don't know if y'all saw that, you could do a 30-day free trial.
Mhm.
So that's a great way if you want to play in it and kind of test it out, test the waters before you have to pay for anything. That
Well,
might be a good option as well.
Right now I'm using Wix, and this looks so much easier.
Yeah, Wix is, I actually saw a great post talking about Wix, and it said, you know, using an all-in-one works for a little while, but not forever.
And it's 3 times as much the expense.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of the thing. I was actually having a conversation with our events coordinator at the chamber. She has a background in nonprofit marketing as well. And we were talking about how, if you're familiar with photography, Canva and Adobe are kind of like Canon and Nikon. Neither one is really better than the other, but most people have very strong feelings about the one they started with. But she was sitting there, and she's in her late 30s, and she was like, Adobe is what I was trained on in college, and it's a sinking ship, but I'm on it. So
I saw you had a QR code on that, your last slide. Can you create those in Canva, or where do you create your QR codes?
yes. So we at the chamber, we create our QR codes with a software called QR Tiger. QR Tiger actually will interface with Canva, but you do not have to use QR Tiger. And I can actually go back and share my screen again and show you that. So right here, let's say that I wanted to make a new QR code. This app section right here, you might find a lot of things in there that are different outside softwares you're already using, like Google Drive. You can pull in documents from Google Drive. You can pull in videos from YouTube, a lot of things. So you just click QR code right here, and then it says add QR codes to your design, use. And then all you have to do is put the URL that you want in right there. So let's just say I'll just do our website just really quick. And then it will make the QR code for me. And then if I want to customize it, I can change the colors. I would really recommend just keeping it black and white.
Right.
And then you can just hit generate QR code, and then I have it right there. So, if you don't really need any sort of like tracking capabilities to be able to see like who is using the QR code and where and how often, this is a great option if you just need to link towards ticketing for an event, or more information on an event, or joining your club.
Or coming to our website.
Absolutely.
I know I've been to several large conventions lately, and they're putting QR codes on everything, including the people's name tags, so that you can just scan the QR code and have all their information.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I did not choose to die on this hill, but whenever we were redesigning our business cards, I said, you know, instead of having this statement on the back, we should really just have a QR code that goes to all of our information, so people can just scan that if they'd rather. They're an amazing little tool. Whoever thought QR codes would come back like they have, but I mean, it is a tool that you can use to get some payoff that you used to, you know, never be able to track or receive at all, with posters and different print materials.
Well, I know of one town that's putting QR codes at different businesses and different interesting places in town, so people can find out more.
Yep. Yeah.
Kathy, we put our QR code, we've got, of course, our tennis tournament and pickleball tournament coming up. We put our QR code for people to register.
Yep.
You know, of course, for their to register for the actual entry. And I've had such great feedback doing it that way on the form, because people say, gosh, it's so much easier. I can just scan it and it goes straight to the website for me to actually enter it in. So again, I would encourage you, if you're not doing that on your flyers, it's just a great, easy way, especially when you're printing it, because people don't want to have to type in the website. And we actually have it on our Facebook page too. So that way somebody could go in and just click on it. So I encourage you to do that.
And I would encourage you, if you're using Canva, I would really consider adding QR codes to anything that you do, because the more barriers there are to people accessing things, like having to type in a website, the less likely they are to do it. So.
Also, when I do flyers or posters for an event to put up in like store windows, I print them on both sides and use double-sided tape. So if it's on the glass, you can see it from either side.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a great idea. Carrie, did you have a question?
Not a question so much as just thank you, Caitlin. This has been a really good presentation. I work for Dade County, Georgia, and do communications for Dade County. I am not a communications person. So when they ask me, I'm an analyst by trade. So when they ask me to do communications for them, it was like being thrown into the deep end of the pool. And the reason I say that is because I help our local Trenton Dade Optimist Club a lot with their flyers and things like this. And I think what really drew me to Canva is that it is so easy to use, very, very easy to use. You can get in there, you can play around. I do not have a marketing background or a design background, and Canva is almost like design for dummies.
Yep.
It really is. Like, I'm looking at what's on the screen, what's on Caitlin's screen now, and that's one of the Canva templates. And so if you have photos, you just drop them into each of those different little grid squares. Like, you can't mess it up. You can move those photos around. And the great thing is if you do mess it up, you just delete it and it goes away and you never see it again. So for $12.99, it really will make your life a lot easier. And all you do, if you upload the logo, you don't have to know. Like, I thought, what is a hex color? Why do I have to know what that is? How do I get to the right color? Well, when you upload the logo, it kind of gives you that brand cheat, because you can just go to the design elements and it will show you the logo colors, and you can just select from those. So it really is so simple to use. It's great, especially if you're starting out with social media. And trying to get your social media off the ground, because you don't have to guess at, am I creating this in the right size or not? And then the continuity is really just super easy. So like, if you want to create something for Facebook, but you also want it to look very similar to a printed flyer, then all you do is use the magic resize that comes with the Canva Pro. So I can't recommend it enough, especially if you're new and really trying to get your brand recognition out there for your particular club.
Yeah, thank you, Carrie. I'm sincerely not kidding whenever I say that organization I was talking about, where I was paying out of my own pocket, this resize button right here was worth every penny of that $12.99 a month. It was worth every penny. It will save you so much time, so many headaches. It's amazing. And I mean, like, sincerely, like, what you can do with Canva is limitless. Like Carrie said, her background is in analytics. My degree is in English. Whenever I went to the university that I went to, majoring in digital marketing wasn't an option that they even had yet, because it was a newer thing. I have a friend who graduated 2 years after me. They had created a program that if you started in the semester that I started, you weren't even eligible to be a part of that degree program. Yeah. So what I did instead was I got a degree in English with a concentration in business writing. And everything that I know about Canva, I taught myself on Google. Professor Google was very helpful. And you can do a lot with Canva. You can do a lot with Canva. We have designed everything from little tent cards that we have our destinations QR code that links back to our website, to I've designed billboards on Canva. So you can do literally anything. The only time that I have ever run into barriers with Canva is just in the past 7 years, I can think of 2 times that I had to go back and use Adobe. And the reason I had to go back and use Adobe was because the people who were going to print the material said it had to be designed in Illustrator.
Mhm.
Does anybody else have any more questions?
No, I would like to thank you, though. It was very,
Thank
very
you.
interesting, Caitlin. Thank you.
And I know it's kind of like trying to drink water, out of fire hydrant. There's a lot going on with Canva, but hopefully you have seen at least something that has piqued your interest a little bit. And then you can reach out to me. You can reach out to, sorry, Carrie. You said that you were 4 out of 5, so you can reach out to Carrie. I can tell Carrie
Absolutely.
knows a lot. You can go to Canva's learning modules, YouTube, or you can sign up for Canva Create on Thursday and see what new things they announce.
Thank you, Caitlin. And like she said, I mean, I think that, for us, certainly in Gilmer, I think I shared on the chat, I pay for it, which thank you for the tip. I didn't know that our foundation might be able to pay for it. So that will be something at our board meeting that I'll bring up, because we do have a 501c3 foundation. So that will certainly be an option that we may want to look at. But again, I think, as Robert pointed out, I would encourage you try maybe the free trial, see if it's something. But even if you just do the free, just try to play with it, see if it's something you can use. I love when you can, be able to brand, because I know Nick was on, of course, is on, and he is all about the branding. Make sure you're using your logo. I think we all talked about, how to get that. If you go out to Optimus International, make sure you know how to do that. We want to make sure we're branding our Optimus, your current logo, and everybody should have that, know how to get that. If you don't, call Nick, or call me. But I think at the end of the day, we always want to make sure we're branding ourselves. But I love the idea of, really trying to promote and have a consistent branding across, formats. And I think that's so important. But I love the idea of the Facebook. We can do some other things. So yeah, so Caitlin, thank you so much. I think this was very informative. I know, like you said, there was a lot. Canva can do so much. Now you're trying to share a lot of information in a very small window of time, but I really appreciate your highlights. But I know you're going to send us this presentation that we'll be able to send out, and I know have some great links as well. Kathy, is there anything else?
Yes, and thank you again, Caitlin. I'd like to add my thanks because I haven't used Canva in a while, and I'm up to speed quick here. The other thing I'd like to ask everybody, please join us next week. Our featured presenter will be past Governor Gerald Johnson. He'll be speaking on Robert's Rules of Order. Same time, same place. You should have gotten something from the Gateway District that will be announcing that. If you haven't, you will be. So please join us. And this presentation, if anybody wants to see it again, will be appearing at the Gateway District website, if that's okay with you, Caitlin.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, we just want to make sure. So if you or any of your club members, if you're not the person that would be doing your marketing or what have you, you can go to the district website in the next couple of days, and you should see this presentation up there. And also, I would also say connect back to a presentation that was done by Nick Perlman, and oh my gosh, my mind just went blank, on using the Optimist branded and approved logos and such. So that's also out there. And if you go to optimistleaders.org for your club, if you have access to that, or your officers will, you can just click on Brenda Basie. Sorry, it was Brenda Basie that did that presentation with Nick. But you can click on your roundout for your club and have the official Optimist International approved logo for your club right from optimistleaders.org. Okay. So thank you all for attending tonight, and appreciate your time and your attention. Have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful week.